Call the Kitty Hawk Town Council to order this Monday, February 1st, 2021 at Kitty Hawk Town Hall. It's now 6 p.m. And I don't know what happened to January, but here we are. Would you join us for a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Motion to, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
All right. And, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And did we have the introductions for firefighters? Yes. Okay. Look like a bunch of masked men.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
It's a great pleasure to introduce two of our newest firefighters onto our workforce. I got Henry Hardison. I've got Caleb Chick. They're both natives of Dare County for some time. We've had them on our department as part-timers. And we decided to bring them on when the vacancies came up. So I'm expecting good things from these guys. And they are very eager for your questions.
They are. Well, first question, did you get to fight a fire Sunday?
I did indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have to read some praise from Mrs. Brown, but I'll do it at my part of the council meeting. But they appreciate very much what you folks did. They do.
Wonderful.
And we're glad to have you on board.
Glad to be here.
Glad that you've been around a while, so you kind of understand the lay of the land.
Yes, sir.
You're most welcome. Anybody?
Glad to have you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Glad to be
Glad.
here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
No speech?
No speech. I had one prepared, but.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
You do know when you leave, I still want to know what you look like.
Probably better that way.
We'll catch you later.
Take care.
All right, consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Does it have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Jeff seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. We had nothing removed. So we go straight into new business, and we have a bid and a recommendation for the crossover. Andy, you want to speak to this at all so that the public knows what we're talking about?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The town received bids this morning at 10 o'clock for the Connector Trail project at the Kitty Hawk Park. As the council recalls, we recently received a grant from the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, and then we also have received a grant from the Tourism Bureau for a total amount of $117,000. The bids were received to make the connection from the Dare County Park to a underutilized trail in the Kitty Hawk Woods, which starts about from where the Dare County Park is, and it goes all the way up to pretty much the back end of Walmart, up towards 158, right there behind Kitty Hawk Estates. So it's about a 1.8 mile trail that we'll now have access to, which currently we don't. There is access to it, but it's through that residential neighborhood, and not a lot of people know about it. So this will allow us to have a trailhead that will have amenities that are already at the Kitty Hawk Park, such as ample parking, restrooms. There's already recreational opportunities there at that park, so this will just be another additional recreational opportunity for people at that park. So the Dare County Park is a county park. But it is in the town of Kitty Hawk, so we've got the support of the county, we got the support of all the residents, and we received this grant from the state. So part of the project now is that we bid this out and we get a contractor on board to hopefully get this project constructed before the summertime is the goal. So we've kind of moved quick on this. We've, Albemarle and Associates bid the project, and we received 2 bids. One bid was from LSI Marine Construction, and the other bid was from Premier Contracting, with the low bid for this project being LSI Marine Construction in the amount of $129,912.60. The project was bid by the linear foot, so if we go in, we don't have an exact route, but we know we got to go over the water, and so this is what this will pay for, is that boardwalk. So the project was sort of bid at a linear foot, and as we get into it, if it's less, I'm sure we'll work with the contractor to reduce the costs. If it's more, then we may be back before the council in a budget amendment. So we are a little bit short with this project being 100% funded by grant funds, but we won't know the actual final cost of the project until the contractors had a chance to go out and look and kind of clear a path, and we pick an exact route, which way we're going to take over the water there that we have to get over to get to that other trail. So tonight, what's before council is to approve the low bid of LSI Marine Construction, and then we'll be back in March to give you guys an update on where we're at with the actual start of the construction.
All right, council, do I hear a motion to approve the recommended?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the bid received from LSI Marine Construction LLC in the amount of $129,912.60 for the Kitty Hawk Park Connector Trail project.
Does that have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Let's get her done. All right. That brings us into town manager reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one report this evening, actually just an update. The grant that we received from the state as a result of Hurricane Florence for the canal and ditch cleaning, which is where they come in and just clean the vegetative debris along sides of the ditches and canals in Kitty Hawk. We did this 3 or 4 years ago. In between, we had another storm, so more grant funds became available, in which we applied for. So this will allow us to go in and take any limbs, any branches, any things that's fallen into those canals and remove those. So the contractors are going to be in town. They started to mobilize today, and so they'll be over in town in the next several months cleaning out various ditches. They do not do any type of dredging. This is just basically removal of vegetative debris that's fallen in as a result of Hurricane Florence, I believe. So that is one update, and then also we have large item pickup, which is Monday, February 8th. So all your large items you can put up by the road, and our Public Works Department will come by and pick those items up. You can look for our website for a list of items that you're able to put out by the road. So
All right.
that's all I have this evening.
And the stuff's being put out there. I see that. Town attorney.
I had a nice stint in Superior Court today, and honestly, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. I'm not going to offer anything. I'm going to sit right
All
here.
right. Okay, I'm going to go last on town council because I need to read something. So how about I start with you?
I don't have anything at this time.
All right.
It's too cold to do anything.
Okay.
Thanks again to the staff for what you do, and welcome once again to our 2 new Kitty Hawk firefighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to also welcome our new firefighters, and that's basically all I have.
Okay. Well, we received a big thank you to our Kitty Hawk Fire Department from Miss Barbara Brown, and she did ask me to read this into the record, so that's what I'm going to do. This is her email. My husband's man cave and Maggie's place also was a hot blaze last Sunday night. Remember, Sunday was a major football day night. We'd been watching 2 great football games and pigging out on food all day, probably with majority. And if not for my puppy dogs who take a late night tinkle, we all would have been in a warm coma on our sofa, clueless, so there's no telling what else would have caught fire. So I opened my back door for our walkabout and saw terrible, high, roaring flames. I called 911 and poor Steve went into shock. We are beyond words grateful to our wonderful Kitty Hawk department. The firemen responded quickly, and they did a very professional job knocking the fire down while saving a couple of other important nearby buildings as well. Thank you so much for the great job helping us. You're the best. Barbara Brown and Stephen Brown, Maggie, and Diver Dog 2. So that was nice to hear.
It's nice.
It's always good when something positive comes out of a bad situation. So I rode by there, I looked at what they had, and looks like there's quite a bit of damage, but the whole building didn't burn down. So don't know where that goes, but the best of luck to them. All right, done my duty. I don't have anything else to add. I believe we're into public comment at this point. I'm assuming we have some public comment. Lynn?
Good evening, everyone. Commend you for coming out on a cold night. We had a little bit of hominy snow when I was coming in. I could see it on the windshield. So I like to see a good snow, but I don't like to drive in it. Speaking here tonight on the Hurdle Street project that was spoke at the January meeting, my husband and I own the oceanfront that is at the end of that paper street. And as you saw from my email before, we've took great time in getting it taken care of. We've put out thousands of American beach grass plugs, sea oats plugs, rolls and rolls of sand fencing, and to preserve this dune. I met with Ron Rinaldi with CAMA, the district manager, very recently, and he was impressed how big that dune was. And I told him that, well, 20 plus years ago when we were putting out our sand fencing, we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't realize that it wasn't supposed to be perpendicular to the dune. And so that's the way we put it up. And it wasn't very turtle friendly, but it caught a bunch of sand. And when it got almost filled up and covered up, we put another layer on top of it. And so binding it together, and it created more sand. And that has become the backbone of that dune because it's got the sand fencing binding, holding it together. So on the north side of, as we're sitting there talking about the dune and looking around, we noticed that the dune, in its vastness, it has migrated across the beach road and created what he, as we know CAMA speaks a lot of, is created a starter dune on the west side of the beach road. And that dune is quite significant itself. It has mature plantings on it. It has natural grasses that is started and are in mature state as well. So we realize that this dune also is protection to the homes that are around it as well. So as you know, the Kitty Hawk Life-Saving Station house borders that paper street. And it was moved from the oceanfront to save a piece of history. So but the problem was that house is 33 feet, 3 inches wide. But the county allowed it to be moved to this lot because they didn't want to lose the Kitty Hawk Life-Saving Station to another township. We want to keep it in Kitty Hawk. So to allow it moved to that lot, we have a setback issue. We're 3 feet, 3 inches over. So what they did was the town allowed them to put the home there and put the overage on the south side, which is beside the paper street, so as not to infringe hardship on the north neighbor. Now this starter dune, this migrated dune as it is now, creates a, I'm sorry, that beat kind of scared me, creates a buffer for those homes that are around it. It protects the homes. It protects that life-saving station. If we have a storm coming in from the north and the south, we've got this extra dune that's protecting it. But if you put a street there, you're taking out a dune. You are eliminating something that protects us. My husband is a farmer. And we all know that farmers take care of the land. And that's what we've done with our oceanfront. We've took care of it. When a farmer takes care of his land, he feels he's taking care of his family. And that's what we are doing too. Because everyone in this room, wherever you're sitting at, you've got friends that you think of like your family. And you've made that comment, oh, they're like family to me. I love them like family. Well, our neighborhood is a family. And we love and take care of each other, and we don't want anything to happen to each other. We'll do anything we can to help them. And I don't want to see a street come in here that's an unnecessary street in a built-out neighborhood that's going to trap water, and we're going to be inside this bubble of water because it can't get out. Kitty Hawk has prided itself all these years in not having street lights and sidewalks. We're keeping a natural atmosphere. And this little path, this little street, is also a natural setting that should be preserved. Paving this street's not going to serve our neighborhood. It's going to cause havoc to it. You've had negative feedback. I got a text as I was waiting to come over here tonight that said that she had sent an email out. I think that's number 30 that you've received from this community. You've got pictures. This one speaks 1,000 words of what this neighborhood has. We don't need anything else coming here with negative impact. All of you are here tonight, and I'm asking as a recommendation that you decide tonight, while you're all here, to leave this area alone and let it be like it is now, an area of Kitty Hawk that is untouched by asphalt and creating a problem to a town, because that's what it will do to our little community. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Halton.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Honorable Town Council and Mr. Stewart. My name is John Houghton. I have a home at 3808 Hallett Street, which is exactly in that same area where my neighbors are. As a matter of fact, the house that my land was bought on, I bought from Cheryl and Mike back in 1998 when we built that home. I know that I've already sent letters to everyone, so I'm not going to go over all the details of the letters that I sent to you, but I did want to stand here before you today and give you my voice opposition to this proposed Turtle Street project for several reasons. One of them that Ms. White has already touched on. First of all, I just want to say that I'm opposed to this project going forward because even though I respect the work that the Recreation Committee does, I know they have a job to do. They're trying to do their job, and I get that. They've already made a recommendation this project be approved. I made a recommendation to council. And this recommendation has been made without them really knowing all the facts. Facts are many. One of the facts is that by building this proposed parking area on Hurdle Street, it's going to reduce the percolation of water into the sand when we have storms, floods, that kind of things. And in addition to that, when you put that pavement on top of the sand, it's going to catch water, and then all that water is going to run off into the yards on either side of it. And all of those yards on both sides of the proposed project are already like fish bowls. They flood, they retain water, and in harder rains they retain water for days. In some rains they retain water for weeks. After Hurricane Isabel, they retained water for almost 3 months. And we're going to add to that water if we elevate a road, cover it with pavement, and then force that water down into these yards. So that's another disservice that we're doing to the property owners there. It also doesn't address, the Recreation Committee's proposal doesn't address the ecological damage that's going to be done to the landscaping. Again, talking about the sand dune on the west side of the beach road. There's a secondary sand dune that was built because the sand dune in front of it has grown so large. And it does, in fact, help keep a lot of water from coming over to Hallett Street when you have overwash. It doesn't also address the neighborhood. Like Ms. White was saying earlier, we have very few rentals, houses in that neighborhood. It's mostly people like myself. I'm twice retired law enforcement officer. I was very proud to work for the town of Kitty Hawk and spent over 5 years in the fire department here. So I have 33 years of public safety. So I didn't make a lot of money at what I was doing, but I love my work. And so I took my money and we built this home, first as a primary residence, and then I got called back to work in Virginia. And so we had to just use it as a secondary residence. So that's what we've done. Another concern that the Recreation Committee doesn't address, I don't think adequately, is the traffic. And when I say traffic, I'm talking about vehicular traffic, pedestrian traffic, and bicyclists. With the proposal as it's scheduled to go, to enter from the beach road, exit to Hallett Street, I can foresee a lot of rear end and failure to yield crashes from people who all of a sudden don't realize, oh, here's the parking lot, they slam on the brakes, you got an accident. Or they're driving northbound and they say, oh, there's the parking lot, and they turn right in front of somebody. So you're going to see those accidents pretty regularly during the season. I also worry about pedestrian accidents and bicycle accidents. We already have a lot of pedestrians and bicyclists on Hallett Street already because they go there to avoid the traffic on the beach road and on the bypass. And I'll tell you, my wife and I walk all the time, and we do the same thing. We do not walk on those roads. So I understand that, but if we pour more traffic onto Hallett Street, which, by the way, is a very narrow street with no shoulders, it's going to exacerbate that traffic problem. And I worry about people getting hit, especially kids. So I guess I'm just kind of reiterating some of the same points I made to you before when I issued these letters. So I'm going to summarize by saying that in all the years I've been in Kitty Hawk, I've always known town council and the town manager to have a good moral compass of where they want to take this town. And I'm very proud to be a member of this town. I'm very proud to work for this town for those years that I did. I'm just asking the town council to follow their moral compass on this project and reject the Recreation Committee's proposal that you accept this contract as fruition. I ask you to do this for the sake of our homes, our neighborhood, and our safety. And with that, I thank you for your time.
I think we need to start sticking with the 3-minute time for future.
Lynn, you've been setting the timer, right?
Yes.
That's the beat that's going off when she raises her hand. 3 minutes is up.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry, I was paying attention to him. You heard the beeper?
Yes.
Well, come over and thump me, because I didn't hear it. I don't hear it.
You will be thumped next time.
Huh?
You will be thumped next time.
Yeah. We don't want to set a precedent. We're not
No, I
sticking.
didn't. I thought the thing was still waiting to go off.
No.
All right, who's next?
That's all that I have.
That's it? All right, does anyone else want to speak?
Can I get 3 more minutes?
No, sir.
You've already run your time.
You've already got the
beat
extra
up
3.
once, I'm not gonna get beat up twice.
Never happy, right? Never happy.
Yeah. I did not hear that thing go off. Okay. All right, unless council has something to say.
Anybody on the phone?
We want to check the phone.
You wanna
Check the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anybody on the phone that has any public comment for tonight's meeting?
I'd just like to say, Mr. Hampton, I'm not aware of any recommendation or proposal coming to this council from the Recreation Committee. I've not seen any such recommendation.
It hasn't happened.
No. I don't know where that came from, but we've not seen anything about that.
All right, anything else?
I know where it came from. It came from the minutes of the Recreation Committee.
But that hasn't come to us yet.
True, but it came from that, and I got a phone call from someone else about it after this meeting.
Okay,
So that's all I know.
all right. Anybody else?
No, sir.
Okay. I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none.